Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I have the Garmin Venu here, which is one of Garmin's more fitness and lifestyle oriented watches. It sports a beautiful AMOLED display and it has a nice, sleek, modern design, and that's why I wanted to try it, because it's a bit different from anything I've used so far. So today I'm going to have a look at this watch and find out whether it suits my needs or not.
This is a preview file. For example use only. This is a preview file. For example use only.
First, let's see the design. One of the most important, if not the most important design element of the Garmin Venu is its AMOLED screen. I've used a couple of Garmin watches before, but they are all using transflective displays, which means the screen is lit by the actual ambient light instead of built-in backlighting. It comes with two advantages. First, the battery life can be much longer, and second, the screen is easily readable even in the strongest direct sunlight. In fact, the more light hits the watch, the brighter the screen gets. It's a great way to display information on sport watches, but the quality of these displays is lacking big time in terms of color saturation and resolution. In short, they are efficient but not as fancy looking. Enter the Garmin Venu and you can see that the AMOLED screen looks gorgeous on this watch. The popping colors, the deep blacks and the higher resolution make it look pretty. Unfortunately, there are drawbacks to using an AMOLED screen on a smartwatch as well. First, it's not as easy to read in direct sunlight, and second, it consumes considerably more battery power. The screen is also a touchscreen, so there are only 2 buttons on the watch instead of the usual 4 or 5, which is again a good thing, but it comes with a few annoying disadvantages at the same time. During everyday use, you won't miss the extra buttons, the watch does everything well, scrolling through the menus is quick enough using the touchscreen, and Garmin actually puts the buttons to good use as well, because you can use them to enter and exit the sport apps, the settings, and one of my favorites, the customizable quick menus. You also start and stop an activity by pressing one button or the other. However, the touchscreen itself becomes a struggle to use during exercise. I'm not saying that you cannot use your watch with the touchscreen, because you certainly can, and it works well most of the time, but personally I prefer the physical buttons for controlling my watch during a workout. In wet conditions, things get even worse, since the touchscreen either stops working altogether or you get a lot of mistouches on the screen. Again, buttons work all the time in every condition, but the screen looks great and it works perfectly fine 90% of the time. The Garmin Venu uses 20mm standard quick-release silicone bands, so you can easily swap them for another band of different color or material. Of course, the watch is well built. Garmin used quality materials all around, which are mostly plastic to keep the weight down, but that was a smart choice from Garmin, as the Venu is indeed very lightweight and comfortable to wear, and yet it has this premium feel to it. The Gorilla Glass 3 on the front and the stainless steel bezel around the display only add to this premium feel. Altogether, the watch looks really sharp and sleek, and it can be worn at almost any occasion. I really like this granite blue color as well, so I would say the design is a winner for the most part. But if we turn the watch around, we can immediately see that it is more than just a fancy smartwatch. There is a heart rate monitor and a pulse ox sensor on the back, and what you cannot see is the built-in GPS, a gyroscope, a barometric altimeter, a compass and an ambient light sensor. The Garmin Elevate wrist heart rate monitor is used to measure your heart rate all day and of course during an exercise, and surprisingly enough it even works underwater. I did a couple of tests to see how accurate the built-in heart rate monitor is. As a reference, I was using my trusty old Garmin Forerunner 935 connected to an HRM Tri chest strap, which provides you with the most accurate heart rate data possible, and I found that even though the Venu was doing a good job most of the time, it was rather hectic a little. In the swimming pool, it measured a good 15 beats per minute higher in average than did the chest strap, and sometimes there was a difference of around 30 BPM, which is anything but usable for serious heart rate based training. On the treadmill during a 3K run, it was mostly okay with a 2 beats per minute difference in average, and it was actually close enough to the reference during the whole run. But on another day, during a short 1K warm-up run on the treadmill again, even though the average values were close, you can see that it was due to the fact that during the first half of the run the Venu's graph is way below of that of the reference, and the second half of the run it jumped way above that. So again, it's not reliable enough for heart rate based training. I found the same with cycling. Both my Garmin Edge 130 bike computer and my 935 were connected to the chest strap, and the Garmin Venu was measuring much higher values, and it was way off for most of the time. In the gym it was a bit all over the place again, so you cannot trust the built-in heart rate monitor when it comes to training. That's not specific to this watch though. Wrist-based heart rate monitors are not good and precise and reliable enough in general, so the conclusion is the same as always. If you want to take heart rate based training seriously, then you have to use an external heart rate monitor. However, the built-in heart rate monitor can be used all day, not just during exercise, as it measures your resting heart rate and it tracks how well you sleep. Combined with other metrics provided by the watch, you can see your stress levels, your body battery energy levels, your respiration rate, and thanks to the Pulse OX sensor, you can even see your blood oxygen saturation levels as well, which can help you see whether you get enough oxygen during sleeping, which again has a huge impact on your general health and performance. One example of when all these metrics can come in handy. Let's say your stress levels are too high according to the watch, which probably means your heart rate is too high, so the watch will actually offer you to do one of the built-in breathing exercises to relax and slow down your respiration and heart rate a little. I tried it a couple of times and it works wonders. On the other hand, this whole body battery energy voodoo was new to me, and as always I was a bit skeptical. But here is another example of why I think now it actually works. After the watch arrived, I was sick for a couple of days, and at some stage I felt really unwell. I kept checking all the data from the watch while monitoring my own status and feelings during these couple of days, and I have to say I was impressed by how accurately it tracked my body battery, my sleep, my stress and my resting heart rate during these few days. From the data you can clearly tell that from Monday the 17th of August to Wednesday the 19th of August I was indeed sick. In fact, I couldn't get a good night's sleep because of a constant high fever, and I felt really shitty, which in Garmin's language means my body battery was completely depleted by Tuesday night, and from Thursday onwards I started to feel better and everything was back to normal in another day or two. My resting heart rate and my stress levels were higher than usual during these couple of days as well. You can see that it took me almost a week to fully recover from the illness, and I got back to training only when I felt 100% rested and ready to train. So maybe all these metrics combined can give you a pretty good idea of how your body is feeling, so you can trust the everyday health stats provided by the watch, and there is no voodoo applied here after all. And I believe this is almost more important for the average person than get 100% accurate training data all the time, and the Garmin Venu does this pretty well. But most people still buy these watches to track their workouts and fitness levels, so let's see what the watch can do on that front. It has loads of built-in sport apps, and the usual activity tracking features such as step and floor counter are there as well. Of course, you can track your runs both inside and outside, and the same goes for cycling. You get pool swim tracking as well, but unfortunately there is no open water swim tracking on the Garmin Venu and no multisport either. But you can track yoga, strength training, indoor rowing, floor climbing, golf, ski, snowboard, SUP, and some more, and you can always create any custom activity profile of your own if something is missing from the list. There is an animated on-screen guide for strength trainings, cardio, yoga and Pilates, which shows you how to do a certain exercise or for how long to hold a certain pose. There are some pre-installed workouts as well, and you can create and download some more using the Garmin Connect mobile app. Runners can set up custom training programs for 5K, 10K and half marathon distances using the Garmin Coach, and there are some training plan options for cyclists as well. I missed a few more performance-oriented features such as training load and training effect because I got used to having these on my Forerunner 935, but I guess that's one of the trade-offs one has to make when buying a more lifestyle-focused watch instead of a pure sport watch. But moving on to features that the Garmin Venu has, let's talk about the built-in GPS. During outdoor activities such as running or cycling, you can use the onboard GPS, GLONASS and Galileo-based satellite tracking, which according to my test is very accurate. I was using my Garmin Forerunner 935 watch and the Edge 130 bike computer as reference in various scenarios, and I found that the GPS data is reliable and accurate within a 1% margin most of the time. It takes a bit longer for the watch to find the satellite signal at first, but after that the tracking is flawless. As you can see on the map, it's within a few meters with all three devices, and the total distance was within 20 to 30 meters for a 13 kilometers easy spin. Another time I went out for a walk just to test out the GPS in the Venu compared to the one in my 935, and as you can see, both measure the exact same distance and the two graphs are perfectly aligned. The only time I found the bigger difference between the GPS data coming from the Venu and the 935 was a track run. As you can see, the difference there was more like 6%, and then I repeated the test and again the Venu ended up being short by around 5%. Based on how much I was actually running on the 400-meter long track, I would say that it was the Venu which provided me with the more precise distance data at the end. Besides GPS, the Garmin Venu's barometric altimeter provides you with elevation data as well. There I found that the Venu was a bit off compared to my other two devices, so you might want to use a bike computer if you need precise elevation data for your bike training. I found the screen hard to read on the bike, so in general I guess it is a good idea to have a bike computer anyway. There is one more sensor built into the watch we have not talked about yet, and that's the accelerometer. Having an accelerometer on board means that you can take advantage of Garmin's incident detection feature, which would send a message to your emergency contacts in case you fell off your bike or fell over when running or walking. You can set up your emergency contacts in the Garmin Connect app, and you can also let them track your trainings live to put them at ease or make yourself feel more safe. Both the incident detection and the live track feature requires you to have your phone with you, of course, as there is no SIM card in the Garmin Venu, therefore no broadband connection either. But there is Bluetooth, ANT+ and Wi-Fi on board, which means that the Garmin Venu can connect to your phone, and loads of external sensors such as cadence and speed sensors, radars, lights and external heart rate monitors, but according to Garmin's website it's not compatible with power meters. As long as you are connected to your phone, you can have smart notifications displayed on the watch. You have a few text response presets, calendar and weather widgets built in, and you can download watch faces, apps, data fields and widgets from the Connect IQ store. You can control music on your phone from the watch, or even better, you can store and play music from the watch itself. So if you don't want to take your phone with you out for a run, just grab a pair of wireless earphones, pair it to your watch and off you go. The Venu can store up to 500 songs and it is compatible with Spotify, so I downloaded a workout playlist from Spotify with more than 300 songs in it, and it was working fine most of the time. I also enjoyed not having to have my phone with me in the gym. The only problem I found with music playback, however, is that it gets a bit jittery and it keeps breaking up if you are running a sport app and the music player app at the same time. This happens upon starting the exercise app, and after a minute or two it goes away and then the watch plays music just fine. I'm not sure what's causing it, but it can be quite annoying. Another feature I would have loved to try is Garmin Pay, but it is not supported by my bank, so I couldn't even set it up, let alone using it, but the option is there nonetheless. As you can see, the Garmin Venu is a very capable smartwatch with loads of fitness, health and smart features. I don't think I covered every single function in this review, but you can always check the specifications on Garmin's website, which I have a link for in the description below. What you won't find in the spec list, however, is how well the watch works in everyday situations, and I have to say that I was mostly happy with the touchscreen controls, and there was only a few times I missed the more physical buttons. The screen itself is beautiful unless you are outside in direct sunlight. It's still visible, but the transflective display is easier to read on a bike or when running. Battery life can be another concern for some, but it can last up to 4 or 5 days depending on how much you use the GPS, the music player and the screen itself, so it's not that bad at all. The design is sleek and you have multiple color options to choose from, so I believe anyone can find one for themselves. The health tracking features and stats can be very useful. The body battery, the blood oxygen saturation, the stress level and the resting heart rate metrics can come in handy for someone who wants to pay attention to their body's signals. I wouldn't trust the built-in heart rate monitor when it comes to training though, as you will need an external heart rate monitor if you are serious about your training performance and progress, but that's the case with most watches, even the very expensive ones. So who is this watch for? Well, if you are someone who needs only one watch that can do almost everything from casual training to everyday fitness and health tracking, has a touchscreen with all the smart functions, and is dressy enough so you can still wear it anytime and anywhere, then yeah, this watch is for you. But if you are somebody who needs a serious sport watch and use it mostly for exercise, then you might want something else. Since I put myself in the latter category, and I also do a lot of open water swimming, and personally I need a few more performance specific features, I think I will stick with my old Forerunner 935 for now. Only if the Venu did open water tracking and multisport, I would have seriously considered switching to it. But it doesn't mean it's not the perfect watch for you, because again it offers plenty sport and health related features along with a bunch of smart functions, and last but not least it has that beautiful AMOLED screen, but I guess I said that already a couple of times. So this is it, that's all I had to say about the Garmin Venu smartwatch. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Let me know what smartwatch you use and why in the comments below. Thanks for watching, see you next time.